with the top news across the campus of Marshall University in the W. Page Pitt School of Journalism and Mass Communications, JMC TV presents MU Report.
Hello, and thanks for joining us for this edition of MU Report. I'm Jada Mills.
And I'm Sarah Davis. MU Report is a student production of the W. Page Pitt School of Journalism and Mass Communications at Marshall University in Huntington, West Virginia. Now, on to our top story.
Winter appears to make a strong return to Marshall's campus this week, and that makes round two because the spring term started out with ice and snow. Marshall is a commuter-driven campus, so weather issues really create problems. The snow, ice, and freezing temperatures that have swept through our region has left commuting students with a new battle. Campus parking lots that were once cleared of hazard are now covered in a sheet of ice. These conditions have left some students concerned.
The engineering lot was pretty icy. I mean, there was like a sheet of ice and like snow piles everywhere. And like some people were even like parallel parking like in the spots like the snow.
Honestly, the black ice on the road, you know, feel your tires slide out while you're on the way here, and you know, it's kind of scary.
University officials say that they are doing their best at clearing the sidewalks and parking lots of campus.
Our team is usually out on a regular school day while it's still dark, clearing sidewalks, clearing the perimeter of campus, the sidewalks that go around campus. MUPD is in charge of our parking lots, so they clear those when they're able to do that.
The ice still remains 2 weeks after the start of the semester. The freezing temperatures have made it hard for university officials to clear the lots completely, leaving some students with safety concerns while walking to class.
Just the ice makes it really difficult to even like walk to class. Like I have to like basically shuffle to get to class.
I have slipped and almost fell. I have not fell, but I've almost slipped and hurt my butt, and I've seen a few people do that.
To avoid any issues as you commute to the university, make sure that you're taking your time by driving slow and being careful while walking to class. Jada Mills, MU Report.
Now more on winter's first strike earlier this year. The temperatures remained uncomfortably cold. The snow and ice stuck around long past its welcome, and that, predictably, chased us all indoors.
No one can stay outside for like 10 minutes.
Students on Marshall's campus were greeted back for the spring semester with snow-covered tables, benches, and lawns after a large winter storm hit the region. This change of scenery is forcing many to take their downtime inside.
Nobody wants to start their day off with snowy hands after brushing off those benches to find a place to study. That's why students across campus are finding unusual places to hit the books this week.
Been just like ducking into places, like because I've spent a lot of time in Smith, so I kind of just stay there, or I'll like run to Drinko. But I did that one night, and then it was horrible trying to walk back to my dorm. Yeah, the library's super full. The student center's like way fuller than normal, and it's already crowded in there, but there's just even more people there. And I have seen a lot more people like inside places. Yeah.
Outdoor study areas taken captive by freezing temperatures and icy wind gusts. For students who enjoy the outdoors, the first week back made quite the rude awakening.
Normally I am outside literally as much as I can be outside. That's my study spot. I literally love those tables more than anything. But right here is normally where I am. I don't like the library. I'm not a librarian now. I have to have some kind of noise when I'm studying, which is not common for a lot of people. But normally I will be right here in San Francisco Center.
Now, local weather forecasts do show that temperatures are going to begin to increase over time here in Huntington, West Virginia. But for now, students are going to have to take cover as they turn in those assignments. Sarah Davis, MU Report.
Students should be sure to bundle up and dress in layers until the grass can be seen again. In other news, conversations around diversity, equity, and inclusion are at new heights right now with recent changes to our state and local governments. I sat down with one guest professor that's attempting to impact the music world, one diverse voice at a time.
First, can you just introduce yourself?
Yes, my name is Dr. Lorraine Sims. I use she, her pronouns. I'm a full professor of voice at Louisiana State University in Baton Rouge, Louisiana.
So what are some practical things that you do to teach gender inclusivity of voice?
I do a lot of things. I travel around doing presentations to spread the word. But the main things I talk to people about are language, things that are important that you do and do not do, and pronoun use. And for voice, it's finding the voice that the individual wants to use if they are going through some type of transition. So we teach voice the same way, but it's how we use our language to create an environment that's non-heteronormative and, you know, expand out so people don't feel like they're not included in things.
How do you plan to continue to support your students through all of these changes?
It is rough. It's not great in Louisiana either, because we're in the deep South, you know, so it's pretty much a red state with a lot of, you know, the same kind of ideas that are in the environment here right now. And I'm still going to be an advocate, although it's not popular, and it's sometimes not even, it could be dangerous, because some people go that direction and they're like, you shouldn't be doing that, you know, I'll get you fired. I've had threats like that, which surprised me, because I'm like, you know, I'm just teaching voice over here. I'm not trying to change the whole world. I'm just trying to be a kind human in this corner of my world and work with people that want to study music.
Sims taught a variety of classes while at Marshall in late January.
Now we go on to Ben Anderson with your update of Marshall Athletics.
Thanks, Jada. Here's your update of Marshall Athletics. Starting things off with Marshall football. Marshall football welcomed the first signing class under head coach Tony Gibson with its National Signing Day 2025 class. Marshall football welcomed its first signing class under head coach Tony Gibson at National Signing Day. The Thundering Herd was coming off a season where it finished 10-3 and won the Sun Belt Conference Championship. After the season ended, the Herd was forced to withdraw from its bowl game after over 30 players entered the transfer portal after former coach Charles Huff left to take the job at Southern Miss. The Herd under Coach Gibson introduced 62 new players to the team, including 48 transfers and 14 high school signees. Coach Gibson says that recruiting in the state of West Virginia was a big emphasis during the process.
7 of the 11 full-time coaching staff members have a tie to the state of West Virginia or to Marshall University. And our first time we were allowed on the road because of the dead period change was a few weeks ago in January. And we hit all 55 counties and every school in the state that has football.
Marshall lost its top 3 quarterbacks to his depth chart via the transfer portal during the offseason and signed 5 quarterbacks during the signing period. Smith says that when looking for a quarterback, he looks for a team leader.
First and foremost, you want somebody who's a winner. You want somebody who is mentally and physically tough. I'm looking for somebody who's a great decision maker, facilitator of the ball, great teammate, going to be the hardest working guy on your team. You want somebody who can beat you with his arm and his mind first, and have the ability to, in my opinion, make plays with his legs when things break down.
Coach Gibson and the defending Sun Belt Conference champions now set their focus to spring ball in the green and white spring game on Saturday, April 12th at Jones C. Edwards Stadium. Over to Marshall men's basketball, the Thundering Herd defeated the Sun Belt's top-ranked Arkansas State Red Wolves on national TV at the Cam Henderson Center 77-72. Nate Martin tallied a team-high 18 points on a 8-for-11 shooting night to go with a game-high 14 rebounds for his 5th double-double of the season. Zane Mingo registered a career-high 10 assists to just 3 turnovers while contributing 14 points for his first double-double of this season. Michael Dawson added 15 points, Wyatt Fricks tallied 12, and Obina and Chili Killen had 11, as the Herd finished with 5 double-figure scores for the first time this season. Marshall found itself down 35-29 at halftime after trailing for the entirety of the first half, including as many as 10. Marshall came out with a spark in the second half as the Herd registered 12 with the first 14 points in the final 20 minutes of play to take a 41-37 advantage at the 17-22 mark. The Red Wolves pulled within 3 twice in the final 2 minutes, but Marshall held off the visitors to just 2 for 5 from the stretch and forced a pair of turnovers while making 5 free throws to hold on for the win. Marshall had a hot shooting second half by nailing 60.7% from the field, including 55.6% from deep. The Herd out-rebounded Arkansas State 42-35, including 15-10 on the offensive glass. Marshall turned those 15 boards in the offensive glass into 20 second-chance points. Over to Marshall women's basketball. Marshall women's basketball fell to the Central Michigan Chippewas in the MAC Sun Belt Conference Challenge 73-68 at the Cam Henderson Center. Aislinn Hayes led Marshall with 20 points, while Cece Mace had 19 points and 7 rebounds. Leota Berigny had a strong all-around performance for the Herd, with 9 points, 7 rebounds, and 6 blocks. 4 of which came in the fourth quarter. Maroni's blocks helped Marshall overcome an early fourth quarter deficit, and the Herd took its biggest lead at 9 points with 5:12 left on a basket by Mays. However, the Herd could not get the shots to fall down the stretch, and Central Michigan took advantage. Marshall owned a 14-0 advantage and points off turnovers in the contest, as the Herd only turned the ball over 8 times in the game. With the loss, Marshall falls to 7-17 on the season. Over to Marshall Volleyball. Marshall Volleyball welcomed Heather Stout as the 13th head coach in program history. Stout served as an assistant on the staff last season, and prior to coming to Marshall was the head coach at the Catholic University of America in Washington, D.C. For 4 years, Stout's previous head coaching career shows an ascent to success. During her time at CUA, the Cardinals improved their win total in each season under Stout, which was capped with a 20-12 record in 2023 before she joined the Herd as an assistant coach. Stout promised a competitive attitude from the team in its quest to be the top of the Sun Belt Conference. That's all for this sports report. Back to you guys. 2 tries, fellas.
That's all the time we have for this edition of MU Report. Our director is Emma Gallus, and our executive producer is Dr. Chris Swindell. Our newscast content is generated by us, students, in the WPH Pitt School of Journalism and Mass Communications.
MU Report is a television lab, and we are glad you're watching. You can always catch this newscast on YouTube. And be sure to follow us on Instagram, JMC_TV, for all updates. I'm Jada Mills.
And I'm Sarah Davis. Have a great day.